Okay, so this lesson is on participle phrases. So a participle is one of the forms of a verb. Remember, we had 4 forms of a verb, and we had 2 participle, present participle, and past participles in the 4 forms. And so they can be used as adjectives in a sentence. When we looked at adjectives, we looked at this. So present participles being used as an adjective. A walking tour was arranged. Here, tour is the noun. Walking is modifying tour. It's acting as an adjective, even though it's the present participle of walk, meaning it's walk with an ing on the end. Okay? But it's being used as an adjective, not as a verb. Playing, she grabbed his hand. Again, she is your pronoun. Grabbed is the verb. Playing is modifying she. Is acting as an adjective, even though it is the present participle of play. Past participles can also be used as adjectives. The cooked food won't spoil. Cooked here is your past participle. It is the past tense of cook, but here it's not the verb in the sentence. It's an adjective telling us which food. Won't is your verb. And another example, he was a grown man. So here, grown is your past participle. It is the past tense of grow. Grow is an irregular verb. It's not the verb in the sentence. It's modifying man, telling us what kind of man. Was is actually the verb in your sentence here. We're looking at them again because participles can be modified. They can have adverbs or adverb prepositional phrases modifying them, and they get linked together and hooked together into phrases. So, for example, the doctor speaking quietly explained the symptoms. Here, speaking is our participle. The speaking doctor, the doctor speaking. So, speaking is an adjective here describing doctor. Is the present participle of speak. It's not the verb in your sentence. The verb is actually explained. The doctor explained the symptoms. You'll notice it's set off by commas. Because it's a phrase here, it's not just one word. Quietly is an adverb telling us how the doctor's speaking. So even though participles are acting as adjectives, they can have adverbs modifying them, just like other adjectives can. They typically become phrases like this, and they get set off in the rest of the sentence with commas to tell us that it's modifying doctor. Okay? Another example with a past participle instead of a present participle. Here, the old poet, honored by the award, expressed his thanks. Honored here is our past participle. It's past participle of honor. It's modifying poet. Okay, it's telling us about the poet. By the award is a prepositional phrase. It's an adverb phrase telling us about honored, what he was honored, how he was honored. And so the whole thing becomes a participle phrase. They're linked together like trains in a car. So they can also have direct objects. Again, participles are, by their nature, a form of a verb. So they can have direct objects. They also become part of a phrase. So for example, the dancer, choosing her partner, looked at his features intently. Choosing here is our present participle. It is acting as an adjective, modifying dancer. Looked is the verb in the sentence. The dancer looked at his features. So choosing is an adjective. It has a direct object. What or whom is she choosing? Well, she's choosing the partner. So partner becomes your direct object. The whole thing is a phrase set off by commas, and it is known as a participle phrase. When you have a participle phrase, the entire phrase is acting as the adjective. So just like prepositional phrases act as adjectives or adverbs in the sentence, participle phrases act as adjectives. So even though they have pieces inside of them that might be adverbs or direct objects, the whole thing is acting as an adjective. Okay, so speaking quietly, the doctor explained the symptoms. Speaking here is our participle. Quietly is my adverb. I've moved it to the beginning, still set it off with a comma because it's a phrase. And whenever it becomes more than one word, we want to set it off with a comma, so just for clarity's sake. It can be moved though. Okay, so we can move them in a sentence for some variety. The doctor explained the symptoms, speaking quietly. Again, set off by a comma. Speaking still our participle. Quietly still modifying speaking. Speaking quietly is modifying doctor. The whole phrase is modifying doctor. Choosing her partner, the dancer looked at his features intently. Again, I've moved it. The example I gave you before had it between the noun and the verb. Now I've put it at the beginning, set it off with a comma because it's a whole phrase. Choosing still my participle. Choosing her partner is the whole phrase, and the whole thing's modifying dancer. Honored by the award, the old poet expressed his thanks. I've moved it to the beginning. Honored is still my participle. Honored by the award is my whole phrase, and the whole thing is modifying poet. The old poet expressed his thanks. Honored by the award. Here, put it at the end. Honored again is my participle. Honored by the award is the whole phrase. The whole thing's modifying poet. Okay, so they can be in a variety of places. They get set off by commas when you use the whole phrase. The whole phrase is always an adjective. Participle phrases are always acting as an adjective in the sentence.